So while we're all focused on what's going on in Nevada and Georgia and Pennsylvania and other states, bear in mind that the pandemic is it's just rampaging unchecked across this country. Take a look at the most recent reporting as of yesterday. States reported 1.1 million tests and 87,000 cases. 50,000 people are currently hospitalized with COVID-19. Sorry, this is actually from the 3rd. The 4th, if I remember correctly, has a death toll of over 1,100 and 103,000 cases, at least as of the COVID tracking project. Different trackers are gonna have different numbers, but what we do know is that we have more cases than have ever been registered before, and most seem to agree that we're now at over 100,000 with hospitalizations and deaths rising. If you take a look at this, you're gonna see the rise there in the cases. It is now going up to above that second peak that we saw. And we know what effect that has on hospitalizations, and we know inevitably what's going to happen with deaths. So Malaika, it's happening now. I mean, we're sort of distracted politically, but it is just rampaging across so many different states right now.
Yeah, it kind of makes me wonder a couple of things. One, if there's going to be a point where a lot of government officials just say, this is just the way things are, that we just kind of accept this as the status quo. So to what extent will we have to sort of just live life, just knowing that we're always going to have COVID? And it also makes me wonder how effective a presidency can be, because Joe Biden campaigned on being more effective than Donald Trump at managing the pandemic. But so much of this is due to people responding to their state officials. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think there's only so much that a president can have influence over when it comes to this. Yes, I think symbolically Donald Trump should be wearing a mask. But if you have people who are so committed to, for instance, being anti-vaccines or conspiracy theories, and they already have this whole community where they are anti-authoritarian or anti-authority or whatever, how successful can Joe Biden actually be? So I'm concerned that this is just going to be the way that we live from now on. And it's really, I wouldn't even say I'm embarrassed as an American. America has, done so much heinous stuff over the past years of its existence that this is just another reflection of that. But it should give, I think, a lot of Americans some pause as to what are the underlying cultural forces where people are so individualistic that we cannot manage something that most of the world has been able to at least cooperate in managing. Yeah. Despite us saying that we're this sort of excellency narrative. It's disconcerting.
Yeah, and we're seeing these numbers as I think yesterday Australia had 0 community transmitted cases of COVID, I think, for the first time. So some states can do it. It's a different situation in Australia, clearly, and then at the same time, we're seeing someone in the Twitch comments, I think Trashy Plays says, reminded us that in Denmark, COVID mutated to affect the mink population and then transfer back to humans. I think they're gonna cull 17 million mink as a result of that. And I agree. Look, I think the symbolism does matter to some extent. I think that having a president who's not going to be constantly interfering with the CDC is important too. There's some stuff that you can do via executive order, but in terms of some big spending bill that does something about COVID, I don't know that Mitch McConnell's ever going to allow it. I think that Republicans starting January 20th are going to try to, and Fox is going to back up, a strategy of doing 2 things. One, pretending to care more about the deaths, which is good, you should care about the deaths, but 2, block anything being done to actually do anything about it. Like if Joe Biden tries to do some sort of national mask mandate, I think the Supreme Court is gonna knock it down and Fox News is gonna put pressure on them to do that. I think that it's better to have Biden clearly, but without a Democratic Senate, I think next year could still end up being very devastating when it comes to this pandemic.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I think you raise a really good point in terms of the fact that people need some economic incentives to stay home. So yes, people are individualistic and selfish, and Americans are, into NIMBYism and protecting their rights and comparing wearing a mask to, having like slavery shackles on them. But at the same time, you also have a lot of people who can't afford to stay home, who are essential workers, who have to, somewhere like New York, where there are strong stay-at-home provisions, and we have a governor who, in some ways, is trying to control it, where you still have really high rates of this and high death rates because people have to go to work and they're in public places trying to do that, and giving them more COVID exposure. Yeah. So without having a federal government who is committed to that, and again, even before we had concerns about the Senate races, you had Joe Biden saying that he doesn't know if he could pay for any of these things, and that he'll be willing to pay for these things through large wealth transfers. So it remains to be seen, but I'm not optimistic.
Yeah. And if you're out there, if you're in America and you're watching, please do take this seriously. If Joe Biden, if it's called for Joe Biden or something, that has literally nothing to do with whether or not you still need to wear your mask and socially distance and all that. That's still very much a threat, and really all over the place. Notice to the director, I'm gonna jump ahead just a little bit here, but the 7-day average for new cases hit record highs in 20 different states, spanning every region of the country, with the largest increases in Colorado, Maine, Minnesota, and Iowa. 3 states, Kansas, New Mexico, and Wyoming, also reported their highest daily fatality counts. So this is not just, it's kind of getting bad again. It's getting bad all over. It's getting recordly bad in a number of different states. And this is what it looks like when you're on the path to that dark winter that Fauci and Biden were talking and all about, and that sort of thing. There is a possibility that, especially combined with colder temperatures that drive people indoors and the flu, that we are going to have a very dark winter indeed. And remember, even if Biden does become president, it is months until he's able to start doing anything. And I don't see from Donald Trump any reason to believe that in a lame duck session, he's gonna suddenly care more about the pandemic than he has in the run up to his reelection. I just don't see that happening. Now,
true, I have nothing to add to that.
Sure, I mean, sorry, it's depressing. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.